You've been there, settling in for an evening of TV only to waste half the night scrolling. Enter Fire TV, entertainment with zero effort required. Fire TV serves up personalized recommendations from across all your apps. Not sure what to watch? Just tell Alexa Plus what you're in the mood for and she'll pull up the perfect recommendation. Problem solved. Stop the scroll, start the show. Find what you're looking for with Fire TV. Subscriptions may be required.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Former Congressman Peter King. Congressman, we were just giving you kudos for how much you've been fighting for New York and lamenting the fact that the Democrats don't seem to be fighting for their own municipalities anymore. Whatever happened to all politics is local? Tip O'Neill.
Well, first of all, thanks for all the kind words. Great to be with you. And listen, if the Democratic Party went back to the days of Tip O'Neill or Ed Koch, Joe Lieberman, we'd be in so much better shape today. But instead, they have this ideology, this left-wing ideology, this base which has taken over their party. And Judge Weinberg and I often talk about, the old Democratic bosses and machines in Brooklyn and Manhattan and Queens. With all the criticism they got, they made it work. Their concept was you have to fight hard for your constituents. In the end, you have to find an overall compromise, but you start off fighting for your constituents, and then you try to bring it all together. At the end, we're all Americans. We don't have that today. And I saw it, for instance, at the St. Patrick's Day parade, not to be dwelling on, the Irish issue. George and I always kid about the different ethnic groups. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, here it was St. Patrick's Day, and you have Mandami somehow turn that into a Palestinian rally.
So wrong.
And just, first of all, I totally disagree with his view on that. But even if I agreed, you don't take somebody else's event and try to twist it for your own, especially one that has such a long and storied tradition in New York, where the St. Patrick's Day parade was. And I would say the same if I was Greek or Italian, Jewish, whatever. But you don't take somebody else's event, if you're a guest at it, and somehow try to turn it around for your benefit. So that, to me, is an example of how they just have lost touch. I can't imagine anybody doing that in previous years at any ethnic event or any religious event, trying to circumvent it or abuse it for their purposes. And also, all these issues with the police. I mean, there's no doubt that Mandami wants to undermine the police, not even out of evil intention. He honestly believes, I think, that the police are dangerous. They are a menace, and that's the way he grew up. That's what he believes today, and he's going to fight for that. And most New Yorkers don't want it, but his people I say his people, but his organization, the Democratic Socialists, they're extremely well organized, and we have to get back to the days of organizing. We can't just talk about it. We should actually be out there in the streets recruiting people. We should have candidates lined up for each election instead of trying to find somebody at the last minute. So it's going to be tough. There are tough days ahead.
Now, Long Island, Suffolk County, and Nassau County, where you live, is the law and order counties. Tell us about how that happened versus the boroughs of Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Bronx, and Staten Island is a law and order county.
Yeah, I would say, there's any number of reasons. One is that many of the people living in Nassau and Suffolk are living there because they saw what was happening with crime in the city. So they wanted to make sure it would not happen in Nassau, would not happen in Suffolk. Secondly, we have very strong political organizations. I'm not talking about people telling you what you have to do, but basically in every community there is a Republican club. There used to be Democratic clubs. They've sort of given up on that. And these clubs, people come to them and they need things done. They tell them what's on their mind. So it's a party that's built from the bottom up. Yeah, there's strong leadership at the top, but again, the energy and the vibrancy comes from the people on the ground. And we are very responsive to that. Joe Cairo, our chairman in Nassau County, I mean, at any given time, he can get 2,000 people out on the street circulating petitions, going door to door. And they are in contact with their neighbors. So it's really a very grassroots type political and governmental organization with strong leadership at the top. Our county executive, Bruce Blakeman, has done a phenomenal job. He stands with the police. He makes it clear that he's going to stand with the police. He actually has worked out agreements with ICE, where we've had no issues on Long Island. ICE has been active in Nassau County, and the police cooperate with them on certain type cases. And we've had really no incidents at all. I mean, there's the rally on Sunday afternoon where 100 people come out waving flags and banners and everything. But the fact is, overall, the people in Nassau County are satisfied with what they have, and they've made it clear they want to stand with the police, and they also want to have government that represents them. And whether you're a councilman, a councilwoman, a state legislator, a county legislator, the county executive, whatever, you are in touch with your community. And as Joe Cairo, the county chairman politically, and Bruce Blakeman, the county executive, they insist on that. I remember even years ago when I was on the Hempstead Town Board as a councilman under Al D'Amato, anytime I would bring up anything at all, vote on something, D'Amato would say, how do you people feel about it? Is this going to sell? Is this going to work? Is this going to work in Wanchorn, Seaford, Levittown? Are these people for it? He didn't want somebody just coming in with an idea and imposing it on the community. He wanted to make sure that it had local support. And also, we basically don't let blind ideology drive us. It's a very pragmatic, but also committed to Americanism. Like, I can't imagine anyone giving a anti-police speech in Nassau County or an anti-veteran speech in Nassau County. It just doesn't happen. Or calling the United States warmongers. You can have honest disagreements, but there's no climate at all for encouraging any type of anti-patriotism.
And Peter, it's Richard Weinberg. Good morning. Good to talk to you. So, Congressman, the same thing controls in Suffolk County. You have a great chairman, Jesse Garcia. You have a great county executive, Ed Romaine. You have a great DA, Ray Tierney, all common sense people. And Garcia has grown the party ground up, as you say. And in the old days, the political organizations you and I knew, these organizations acted as filters for keeping the crazies and the radicals and the extremists out, and common sense people. You knew who your candidates were. Today, we don't know. It's all media driven.
And you mentioned Jesse Garcia. I've been focusing on Nassau because I live there, but I also ran in parts of Suffolk County. Jesse Garcia is a phenomenal leader. County Executive Ed Romaine, I go back 40 years with Ed Romaine. He is really old school in the very, very best sense of the word, in that he's loyal, he's hardworking. He's not a media type guy, but he just works hard behind the scenes, gets the job done. When I say behind the scenes, voters know where he stands, but he's just a day-to-day worker in the office, does a great, great job, a really knowledgeable, a real student of government. So, no. And also, Ray Tierney, great DA in Nassau County. We have Ann Donnelly, who was phenomenal.
We're talking with former Congressman Peter King. I'm Jake Novak. Peter, when you were in Congress, in addition to being such a great advocate for New York and for especially the 9/11 victims, you were also one of our top national security experts with a lot of seniority on a lot of committees. We're hearing now about these drones. I mean, remember had that whole drone mystery over New Jersey just before President Trump was inaugurated. A lot of people think that's why the inauguration was moved indoors. Now we're hearing that there's drones over the vice president's residence, other types of things like that. I mean, this is something that people really want to get some answers, but this can't be good while we're engaged with the war with the number one sponsor of terrorism to have unexplained drones flying over sensitive areas.
No, listen, we can't let our guard down. And you say I knew about national security when I was in Congress. Yeah, that was 6 years ago. In many ways, that's a different world from what we have today.
There was no drone 6 years ago.
Yeah, well.
That's what I mean. And the whole concept has changed. It's almost like, I guess it was Dean Acheson was talking about being president of creation. When once the atomic weapons come in, that changed the whole concept of warfare back in 1945. Now, this whole idea of drones, I mean, the fact that I support Ukraine against Russia, but they have in many ways revolutionized warfare. I mean, you have this giant country, Russia, coming in with all its rockets and missiles and manpower, and the Ukrainians have adapted by using drones. Basically, drones are fighting off a major superpower. And so that can also be used offensively against us here in the United States. So
future wars, Peter. Future wars is going to be drones, with no bad power, just drones and robot soldiers and I guess electronics. I guess space stuff.
Yeah, the closest I saw to that was, I guess this goes back almost 10 years ago, and General Petraeus was the head of Central Command, and their headquarters was down in Florida. And there were people down there in their headquarters who were firing drones, controlling drones in Afghanistan. I mean, it was just something you see. They were deciding issues of life and death in Florida, something how many thousands and thousands of miles away, and they would be following some guy walking down the street. He gets out of his car, they blow it up, and that was being done, again, by somebody thousands and thousands of miles away. So the whole idea of being a battlefront commander, a battlefield commander, and those days are gone. I mean, right now, they talk about ground troops, and again, they could be needed in some areas, but mainly this war is being fought with rockets, missiles, drones, and supersonic jets. I mean, it's a different world out there. And John, you're right. It's going to be probably robots.
It's all
AI.
robots in the future.
Yeah.